Hello crafters, I'm JanB and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'm going to show you how I made this flip fold card. I was inspired by Rachel Tessman, who did a video showing how to make this, and she got the idea from her team leader Susan Campfield. I've made one little change to this, but basically there's a flap at the front of the card. Okay, and the change that I've made is that I've actually put a magnet there just to make sure it stays closed. So I'm going to tell you the card pieces that you're going to be needing. I'm going to change my colour scheme and the DSP. So what I'm going to be using is, this is from Petal, Promenade, and that one was from Share What You Love. And this is Fresh Fig, and that was Rich Razzleberry. They look very similar until you actually see them in the flesh. Right, so the card pieces that you're going to be needing. You need a card base in Whisper White, which measures 8 1/4 inches by 5 3/4 inches, which is 21 by 14.5 centimetres. And then you need 2 pieces of Fresh Fig, which measure 3 7/8 inches by 5 1/2 inches, which is 9.9 by 13.9. And then you need a piece of Whisper White, which is 3 3/4 inches by 5 3/8 inches, which is that one. I've already adhered these inside. So that's 3 3/4 inches by 5 3/8 inches, which is 9.6 by 13.6. And then for the band you need a piece of Blushing Bride, which measures 6 1/2 inches by 1 1/2 inches, which is 16.5 by 3.8 centimetres. You need a piece of Designer Series paper, which measures 2 3/8 inches by 4 inches, which is 6 by 10.2. Then you need some Fresh Fig, enough to do 3 circles at the back of the sentiments, and I reckon you need 3 squares of 2 1/2 inches by 2 1/2 inches if you're lucky enough to have scraps that you can get on and use. This is the last bit of my scraps, I think. So you need that. You'll also need some Whisper White for your sentiments. You'll need some Fresh Fig for the little flower, which is that one there, and then some Blushing Bride for the little dot inside the flower. Okay, so what we're going to do is that one there, that needs to be embossed. Those two need to be punched. This is stamping, and that's die cutting. Right, so let's do the stamping first. The stamp set I'm using is called Beauty Abounds, and the sentiments are that one there, which is Our Friendship Isn't One Big Thing, and then that sentiment, It's a Million Little Things. I'm also going to use a butterfly, and also that background stamp as well. The dies that I'm using, which are for the sentiments, I'm actually die cutting the sentiments out with Stitched Shapes Framelits, and I'm using number 2 of the circles, and I'm using number 4 of the scalloped circles from the Layering Circles Framelits. And for the embossing, I'm using the Basket Weave Dynamic embossing folder. So as I say, let's get the stamping done first. I'm going to be using Fresh Fig ink. Let's just pop those on there. So the first sentiment, and second sentiment, and for the butterfly. Now with the butterfly I need to stamp off the background stamp, and on this one I use the third stamp. So that's 1, 2, 3. That's good. So if I move all those out for there because I don't want to get myself in a mess, and then the butterfly I'm just doing straight. Okay, so they are all ready to be die cut, so let me just cut these out roughly. I hope I've left enough room there. When you're doing things like this, it is just so handy if you have got scraps that you can use. So let's bring over, oh no, let's do that first. And then I'll get my big shot. So I need that, I need that. And I've actually, no I haven't, have I? I was going to say I've actually done the, well actually yes I have. This is my second take on the video, so I have already got these pieces here. Okay, so I'm not going to worry about die cutting these two. I forgot about this, didn't I? So I will die cut that one, and I've got a circle for it. So I will do one of each of those. So what do I do with the dies? So I want one of those, that one, and this. Yes, the first take of the video, I got in such a pickle with the magnets. Eventually I thought, oh, no, start again. Sometimes starting again is just the right thing to do. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen sometimes. Not that one. Right, that's the one that I need for them. Okay, so just imagine that I've done all 3 of these. Right, so this bit, what I need is to change over my platform from my magnetic platform to my regular platform. Now this is on its own, it's not got the thin die adapter, just the platform and just one cutting mat. And what we need to do is we need to spray this with water, and I've just got a little spray bottle here. We do sell spritzers if you don't have anything. So obviously I can't show you on the screen, you'll just have to listen for the t-t as I spray. Hold on. That's one side. A lot of people don't worry about spraying when they're using the dynamic dies. I do, because I find that I get such an excellent depth to my embossing. I think it's worth it. It stretches the fibres, and we are told to spray our paper. Well, I do tend to do it a little bit more than you really need to. Okay, you can see how much I've used it there. Now, pop this in and make sure you get it nice and straight, because you will be relying on your lines sooner or later. You know me and straight lines. Oh, that's better. Right, so with the Big Shot platform and your embossing folder, make sure the fold goes in first and then just one cutting mat on top. There we go, that's it. And this is what you get. Isn't that absolutely amazing? The reverse is quite a good design as well. I mean, unlike the front, which is basket weave, it's nothing in particular, but it still looks effective. I have actually used that on a card before. Right, so that's... we finished with the Big Shot, I think, haven't we? Get rid of that bit. So let's pop that back. Now this is where the fun begins. Because I've lost my card. No, I haven't. It's here. Right, okay. So those are two of the sentiments. So that needs to go onto here. I'll use Tombow for that. I have to say I do feel a bit nervous after the first time doing the magnets wrong. So that's that. Now this is the one that I put a flower on. So I'm going to punch flower out. I've used these little punches. I forgot to have a look at the name of them for you. But there's 3 little flower punches. And there's this one here. This one's got the circle on it that I put in the centre of my flower. Okay, so there's that. And I'm going to use this one. I will show you the other 2 cards that I've made before I finish. And then there's that one. This one here is the first one that I was happy with everything that I'd done. The others you can see it was like developing. As it started from this, it went on to this and what have you. Oh, there it is. So what did I just do with my dot? Right, I'm just going to put a little... have I got some tissue here? That's better. Right, so just put my dot on there. And then a little dot on there. I'm not sure what that is. There's a bit of pink. Right. So that's those 3. Now if we pop that on next, and I'm going to use Tombow for this. Really and truly it's only the square bits on the reverse that actually get stuck to your card base. These are right to the edge, so rather than get it on my grid paper, I use my silicone mat. If I can do 2 lines of these little squares, then I'm happy. And I just do little squiggles in the centre. Nearly there. Okay. And pop that into the centre of your page, the front of your card. I think this design just needs a little bit of extra help to adhere down properly. Right, now we can't put the designer series paper on yet. We need to do this, and this you actually need your scoring board or your trimmer if that's what you use, and if you put your 6.5 inch strip of Blushing Bride in landscape mode and then score at 4 1/8 inches, which is 10.5 centimetres. That's all you need that for. And then if you fold that over, make sure you line up really nice and straight, and then give your fold a really good burnish. So what we need to do is to adhere this on the back, and what you normally find, or at least what I normally find, is that there is a small gap left over there. Now the only way I could get around that is if I gave you, like, that's probably 1/32 of an inch, maybe a 1/16 I suppose, but I don't really think you want to get into that, do you? Now to get this as much in the centre here as possible, I make the most of my grid paper. Now make sure that you can see it. That's it. Right, so the 8-inch line, this darker line, I'm going to take that as my centre line, and given the width or the height of my card base, this is going to finish up at approximately 5 1/8 inches, and this end at 10 7/8. If you can do that, then your 8 is halfway. Now we know that this is 1.5 inches, so we need to measure 3/4 inches that side and 3/4 inches that side, but I don't want to finish up with pencil marks, so I've got to erase. So I'm going to the 3/4 mark and then come down a bit. Okay, so that's where the 3/4 is, but I've come down to there, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. That's 3/4 of an inch, and I'm going to come down a bit, so that when I put this on I can cover that up. Now on the other side, to make sure that I get it straight, what I'm going to do is, without allowing my card to move, I'm going to count 4 squares over, 1 2 3 4, and put a pencil mark. That is 1 inch. I'm going to do the same the other side, 1 2 3 4. So I've now got 2 inches there. So when I bring this end over, I know that I've got to go in the centre there. If I line up on both bits, then I know that I'm straight. And you watch when I do this. This will be way out. It normally comes down this side. So we need to put Tombow on here, but don't allow your glue to go too far to this crease here. If you put too much glue there, it's just going to start oozing, and it will go onto the join of your fold there, your opening rather, and it will glue the two together. Not what you're after. Okay, so that's a good amount. So first of all, while you're doing this, make sure that this will close. Don't get this stuck right down with this sticking out here and then try and bend it over at the last minute. So I am going to cover up these two pencil marks here. I'm going to fold that over to make sure it's closed, give it a push to make sure it's in as far as possible. Oh my goodness, look at that. That is the first time I have done that straight. Well, at least I could get it right on the video. It's only when I'm on my own that I struggle. Okay, so now it's nice and easy to remove those two pencil marks. And the other two are nowhere to be seen. Okay, so this is the one that's going to be coming on the front, which is Our Friendship Isn't One Big Thing. And what I'm doing is I am looking to see where the centre is. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's about right. So I am going to lift that up while holding it onto the pink bit. Okay. Now I'm going to turn it over. Now I can see that that's out because I got too much this side, not enough that side. So I'm just going to gently move it over. The thing is, in the end, that's going to have glue all over it, and the one on the other side is going to have glue all over it. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take my pencil and I am going to draw around the Blushing Bride piece. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue inside that square. Now I recommend that you use your silicone mat here, just in case you put glue in a position where you finish up putting it face down, rather than having it on there, which will give you problems. It's much easier just to move your silicone mat out of the way if you've made a mess. Now when you're doing this, get down to the scallops as much as possible. Right, so this is going to be the one that is going on the front. Now when you're doing this, watch that this is about the same distance above and below. That's 1, 2, 3, that looks about the right place. Okay, so I was a bit out there. I was very out there, but it really doesn't matter. Can you see the pencil marks? I think you can, can't you? Especially down on that side there. There's a little one here as well, you can see. But that's okay, doesn't matter. Now what we're going to do is the one that's going on the inside, which is that one, we're going to put a magnet here. And the magnets, I will put the link in the box below. They are delightfully small. These are a bit bigger than our glue dots, but these are very much like the magnets that we have with our Stamperators, and that is, if you allow them smack together, these will break. The easiest way I find to do this is to slide these off. Oh, I got two there, that's okay. Let's put that one back. Right. Oh, there you go, look, I've just broken one. What did I say to you? Let me just move that off and show you what I've just done. Now that was not much of a smack, was it? You can see that. Two pieces there. So that's how easy it is to break them. That's better. And there is a positive and a negative side of these. Right, okay, so I know those are the two sides that are happy together. That one there and that one there. So slightly misshapen there. It doesn't feel rough, so I don't think that's broken. So I'm just going to put a little bit of Tombow there to hold the glue dot, the magnet. Now I need this to go on top, and you want to try and line up the scallops. Fortunately, these scallops are very, very small, so if you need to move it slightly to line up, it's hardly going to notice on here. Now on this one, make sure you go right round on the scallops. Okay, so once you're happy you've done that bit, do some all over the centre. Let's see if I turn it one more. Yep, just put that one out of the way for a moment. Okay, so that's fine. What I do for a little while, I just peg this closed, just right on the very edges there, so the outer parts at least do get adhered down. Let's see if I've got any more. Right, so now I need to adhere this one down, but while that's, I'm going to give that just a few minutes to dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop that on there. Now this I really am just guessing where the centre is. Part of the reason for doing this, apart from the fact I think it looks nice, is that the other magnet will be the other side of this. Now which way do I want my butterfly to go? Like that, I think. Okay, so that should be enough for those. What you want is to be able to look at the side of this, make sure that it has all stuck down, which that has. So we know that our magnet is safe in there now. Obviously not a good idea to do something like this for children. Right, now that one, what did I do? Pop that on there. There we go. So that's all right. And then I'm going to put some Tombow on there. And then I'm going to bring that over, so I know exactly where my magnet has got to go. There we go. So that's that way, that way. Alright, So what we now need now is put this one on the front. Now all you need to do is to work out where the centre is here, and just use your lines across here to count. So if you've got 3 spare up there, you want 3 down here as well. So that's not going to be 3, is it? That's what, 1, nearly 2 complete. And then this one as well, 1, 2, 1, 2. That looks about right. Just make sure that you've got that straight down there. This is why I say, when you put your fresh fig into the embossing folder, try and make sure that you get it straight, so that when you're using it here to get your designer series paper straight, it's that much easier. So let me just tip that up to make sure. Mine's a bit late now, but yes, that's fine. Okay, so now that's done, and then when you open it up, isn't that lovely? On this one I was able to put some pearls on these little flowers, but I was looking at this and I really didn't think there is anything that I can do, so what shall I do? Let's do some random ones, I suppose. Because I can't even say that I'll do them there, can I? Could I do big ones there? But these don't really have centres either. No, do them there. And random. I don't think the big ones will do. About on there? No, I don't think so. Three enough? I think so. Right, there we go. That's today's project. But before I go, I said I'd show you the other two. The Learning Curve 2. The one that I did before, this one here, was this one, which is more or less the same, except I used a white band there, and that's what I didn't like there. So that's why I added the flowers, and I didn't really like it with the flowers either. Although I do like the pearls there. Use the Artisan Share What You Love, Artisan coloured pearls, and I've got them inside the flowers as well. Can you see that? Yep, that's okay. And this is the one that I used the basket weave embossing folder. Otherwise it is all the same. But the very first one that I made was this one, and this is where I decided I needed something rather than just plain cardstock, which is why I started embossing. But also with this one I got this wrong because the circle isn't in the centre of this layer. See here, those are in the centre. Oh, there it is. I saw there was a pink bit of cardstock. Okay. I mean, I like the black and white, and I like, you know, the sentiment and everything. I put a butterfly in there, and Hello Beautiful there. So I quite like that being in the middle, because somebody opens up the card and then it says Hello Beautiful. And it was also on this one that I found out about putting the glue all the way round as well. Okay, so that's how my thought processes work. I start off with one once I've seen something, see how it works and everything, and then correct the bits that I'm not very happy with, and then slowly I finish up with something like this. So there we go. I hope you like it, and I hope you give it a try. By the way, this up here is the Hostess code. If you place an online order in my 24/7 shop, Stampin' Up shop, quote that when you're prompted to towards the end, and I can send you a free product at the end of the month, well, the beginning of the next month actually. Anyway, if you have any comments to make or have any questions, please leave them in the box below the video. I'm always very happy to help you, and I'm always interested in seeing your feedback. You do need to be watching the video on YouTube though to get access to the box. If you would like to purchase any of the products that I featured here today, there'll be a link to my 24/7 shop in the box below. If you've enjoyed what you've seen today and would like to be notified each time I upload a new video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button down there in the right hand corner, and then click on the bell so that you get the email notifications. And finally, I have a Facebook group called Happy Crafting, which is for everybody to share their projects that they do, whether it is something that you've made because you followed my tutorial, or something totally different. And even if it's not Stampin' Up products, it doesn't matter. If you've made it, then, you know, come and share it. We'd love to see it. I'll put a link to Happy Crafting in the box below as well. Love to see you over there. Many thanks for joining me today. Until next time, happy crafting. Cheerio.